there needs to be a serious reassessment of what it means to be a healthy human being. Because a lot of folks out there, understandably so, a lot of folks out there are under the illusion, under the deception that they are healthy, because they do not have a proper reference point for what true health is. It's very important to reassess what it means to be healthy, because the society that we live in is so unbelievably sick, so unbelievably sick, so unbelievably troubled, so unbelievably in pain, that the reference point for health has been so low, unbelievably low, so that when you do make a certain health improvement, or maybe you're not, maybe you're living a life that's unhealthy, but because you are more, let's say you're healthier than your friends, you seem to have more energy than your friends, you think that you're healthy. This is no different than the people in Plato's cave, sitting by watching those shadows on the wall. If you're familiar with Plato's allegory of the cave, I got a video on it. They're watching the shadows on the wall go by, and they think this is real life. They're sitting there, they're talking about it, they're thinking, well, what do you think that is on the wall? And they're sort of, imagining and creating plot lines for these characters, the shadows on the wall, which they think that's reality. Then the guy in who breaks out of the cave goes out, sees the sun, sees real life, comes back, says, look, that's not real life. Those shadows are not real life. They're just imaginations. They're figments of your imagination. They're not what the reality is. There is something out there. You guys have to come and see it. And they're like, oh, fuck you. Who are you to tell us these shadows on the wall aren't real? Because nobody wants to have their beliefs, their lifelong belief system challenged. Nobody wants that. It makes you too uncomfortable. This is exactly what happened to Socrates. He goes out in Athens, goes to the streets, challenges people, asks them questions like, what do you do with your life, and then everyone's like freaking out, like, what's your business here, what's your beef, my life is my life, why are you challenging me like that, why are you challenging my beliefs? And then they ended up poisoning him. The authorities in Athens at the time said, you're corrupting the minds of the youth. And then they poisoned him. They took him to prison and they poisoned him. So it's the same thing. The worst type of prison is the prison where you don't know you're in prison. So if you think you're healthy, think again, my friend. Think again. We really have to redefine what health is. So I'm going to attempt here to redefine health. It's it's my own redefining, because frankly, what you want to do with your life is none of my business. Okay, it really isn't. All right, you have free will. I don't want to infringe on your free will. All must come back to the light at some point, whether it'll take you another 100 or 1,000 incarnations, whether it'll take me another 100,000. The game is what it is. Okay, so this is sort of my definition of health, and I'm going to give it to you. And if you would like to take it as a reference point, it wouldn't be such a bad idea, because you have a lot of potential. We have a lot of potential here as human beings. Okay, so first of all, if you are needing anything more than 4 hours of sleep, you're sick. Period. You're sick. I'm sick right now. I'm sick. I need more than 4 hours of sleep. If you need more than 4 hours of sleep, you're sick. Now, somebody may come in like, well, I've been sleeping 4 hours every day, and I feel good. Yeah, I've been doing everything. I've been just eating, I'm eating everything. I'm eating, I'm eating dairy. I'm eating meat. I'm eating everything, and but I feel good, Saeed. I feel good. Again, that First of all, there are so many people out there right now that get by with 4 or 5 hours of sleep, but they cannot part ways with their coffee. So there's a good chance that if you're getting by with 4 or 5 hours of sleep, that you're probably using stimulants, meat, by the way, being a stimulant, and that at some point will catch up with you. In the athletic world, in the sports, that's called I'm injured. Whenever you hear a player is injured, that's because they overwork the shit out of themselves and they use stimulants, Red Bull, or there's that player in Leicester City, Jamie Vardy, incredible player, very, very amazing footballer, and he drinks Red Bulls, like a shit ton of them, all day long, right? He eats like your average diet, I guess, and but he drinks Red Bulls all day long. Now, it may be he's still young, so it may be he may be all right with that right now, and he does get injured quite often, actually. But I mean, it's aging you. So you just gotta wait for it. This is a zero-sum game. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. You're stealing energy by consuming these stimulants. So what I'm talking about here is if you need more than 4 hours, if you're sleeping 4 hours and you're getting up like, holy shit, I got a lot of energy, like a kid energy. Okay, this is something we're gonna talk about here. Kid energy. If you have kid-like energy, only sleeping 4 hours, needing nothing, no stimulants, no coffee, no meat, no sugar, nothing like that. You just wake up naturally every day after just sleeping 4 hours. You don't even have an alarm or nothing like that. You just sleep 4 hours, you wake up with kid energy. Now you remember yourself as a kid. I was watching some videos with my mom. We sat down and watched some videos of us as kids. I saw myself as a kid and I was just always jumping up and down, up and down, up and down. Like, that's the kid energy. That's because kids haven't yet been tainted with toxins and things that numb down your natural innate energy. So if you're sleeping 4 hours, 5 at the most, at the absolute most, and you're waking up naturally every day, every single day, consistently, and you're like, oh man, like, whew, what a beautiful day, and you like a kid, and you're like, oh, I want to go. You go out of your house and you walk, and it's like kid energy. If you don't have that every single day, just off of 4 or 5 hours of sleep at the most, you're sick. Period. You're sick. So admit it. See, I write it before you. I'm sick. I am sick right now. I am sick, but at least I know it. I know I'm in prison right now. Okay, so that's one. I'm giving you a new reference point here, so you know what you're aiming at. So you're not fooled. You're not under an illusion that you're healthy, right? So that's one way of gauging your health level. Because the reason we need to sleep, and the reason why most of us need 8-9 hours, a lot of people are getting much less, but they can't go on without their cup of coffee in the morning, and cup of coffee in the afternoon, and cup of coffee in the evening. So there you go. And that all, I mean, eventually this is a disaster waiting to happen. And you know, as a young person, you can get away with a lot. One of you guys, God bless your soul, you're an old fan, you leave me beautiful comments, and I love you. You said something like, I still eat meat, but I'm healthy, right? And I'm not taking any stimulants, I'm not drinking coffee, this and that, right? You're a young person. Young people can get away with a lot. Okay, people in their 20s can get away with a lot. I remember when I was 16, 17, 18, I would get away with eating just about anything, and I was still doing wrestling and everything. You know, young people can get away with a lot, but you can only take the abuse so far. All right? So we need so much sleep because we need to heal from all the abuse that our bodies take in the form of stimulants, in the form of food, in the form of environmental toxins, polluted air, etc. Okay? So that's why we need to sleep a lot. And that's the biggest lie, that human beings need 8 hours. It's the modern human being needs 8 to 10 hours of sleep. The modern. And the tragedy of it is you're still tired when you wake up. You're still exhausted when you wake up. It's not like you're waking up with that kid energy. You know, it's the kid energy. If you want a proper reference point, it's the kid energy. Think of you. I mean, watching these tapes really helped me reassess this. take yourself between about age 2 to 6. Remember how you were energetically. If you can remember, I can remember, and watching the tapes helped me. That's your reference point, the kid energy, right there, kid energy. Okay, now kids sleep a lot more because, well, first of all, we start feeding them shitty food, so they need to sleep more, but they're also growing. Okay, but as an adult, somebody in your 30s, 40s, 20s, you've done the growth now, so you shouldn't need that much sleep. Okay, so kid energy, no stimulants, nothing, 4 hours of sleep at the most. Okay, so we sleep because we eat, we need to digest, we need to assimilate, we need to let go of the toxins, and also to detoxify the body from all the other toxins that are going on in your environment. Like if you live somewhere where it's really polluted, you're constantly breathing in these toxins, these environmental toxins. If you're living somewhere where there's so much radiation that's harmful for the body, you're gonna need more sleep to recover from that as well. More cosmic energy, you need more cosmic energy to pull off of. And again, the tragedy is, it's not like you're waking up with that kid energy. You're probably still waking up like groggy and tired because you've been laying there for so long, so you sort of build a momentum. You wake up but you're still tired because the momentum now is to just be like knocked out. So these are a few things here to give you a new reference point of what true health is. Okay, now another thing, if you're dying before age 200 at least, then you're sick. You're sick. This body is built to go on. It's built to go on, folks. It's built to go on. If you're dying any time before 200, I'll give you a break if it's like 180. All right, we'll give you a little discount here. All right, a 20% discount or 10% discount, right? 10% of 200 is 20. I'll give you a 10% discount here. So if you find yourself dying at 880, all right, you've been a healthy individual. Okay, most likely you've been a healthy individual, you made it to 180. But if you're dying anytime before 200, and if you're dying in a terrible condition, because the way humans are supposed to die is consciously drop their body, is what's called mahasamadhi, right? That's the way humans are supposed to drop their body. So it's not like you're 200 years old and you're like, broken down. No, like maybe you're 200, your body's beginning to give you little pains, little aches, right? And you're like, all right, I'm gonna drop my body now. Mahasamadhi, you go, you leave the body, you drop it, it's done deal, right? But if you made it to 200, but you made it like, there isn't a single ache and every little joint in your body is aching and in pain, then okay, you made it to 200, or let's say 180 if you're gonna buy in that 10% discount. But still, your body is totally destroyed. It's not supposed to be totally destroyed. You may be 180, 200. All right, maybe your elbows are hurting a little bit, your knees are hurting a little bit, and you come to a realization, okay, this body's starting to, it's getting a little laggy, so I'm just gonna drop it now. All right, so there is another reference point. Okay, there's another reference point right there. Life expectancy and the quality of that life expectancy of a minimum of 200 with a very good quality, with a largely pain-free life. Okay, there's another reference point. Otherwise, you're sick. You don't want to admit it? Fine, it's your problem, not mine. You're just in a prison and you don't know you're in a prison. You don't know your potential as a human being. Not my problem. So, what else? We talked about life expectancy. We talk about the quality of it, how it should basically be pain-free throughout the process. We talk about having kid-like energy. So much energy that it cannot be contained. Like, I was watching those tapes, right? And like, man, and my mom was there, so I was asking her a question. I couldn't do anything because I got so much energy. This is the force, the natural innate energy. I got so much energy. There was nothing I was constantly jumping up and down on those videos. And if my mom was teaching me something, I couldn't learn unless I was like jumping and moving. So if my mom was gonna teach me something in school or review for a test, I couldn't just stay still. Something that, by the way, I still have. Like I can't. It's difficult for me to stay still, and I teach. A lot of my teaching for the kids, I stand up and I move and etc. etc. So I guess I sit for these videos, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I also move with them. But nevertheless, I'm not, as I know for sure, I'm still sick. So I don't have the same energy I had as a kid. I can see glimpses of that kid that I was watching in the videos. Right now, I can see the glimpses. I'm still, the funny thing is I have more energy than pretty much anybody in any way, wherever I go. I seem to be the one with the most energy, and yet I'm sick. See, I could easily fall in the trap of, but look, I mean, Saeed, you got more energy than practically anybody. It's like, but I'm still sick. That's how low the reference point is. So don't fall in that trap, okay? So, but yeah, if you're not like that, with that kid energy, forget about it. You're sick. You're sick. You're sick. So, what else? Kid energy, pain-free life expectancy of a minimum 200, no more than 4 hours of sleep, no stimulants, no drugs, nothing like that, very little food, because obviously if you have so much energy, you're not going to want to eat. Now, this is all groovy to listen to and intellectually think about, but if you want to have an experience of everything that I just said, this is where psychedelics can be helpful. This is where they can be helpful, because they will show you exactly word for word what I just described to you. Because you will, this is assuming you're doing good setting, you're doing your proper preparations, which I have a playlist on, okay? This is where psychedelics can be helpful. Because once you see the potential, you're like, man, you're at least you're in prison, and so then you could begin to work on actually getting yourself into your highest potential without the use of substances, of course, okay? But this is where they can be helpful, because if you've done proper preparation coming into the trip, you've been doing some fasting, you've been lightening up your diet, you've been sleeping every day, you've been taking care of yourself, you've been positive, good thoughts, everything, you will experience kid-like energy on a therapeutic dose of mushrooms or LSD. And you will expand. You'll feel like my first trip, 2 grams of mushrooms. I was in nature, I was in nature with a bunch of friends. We were in a waterfall, and the energy, it was like I was my 4 or 5-year-old self again. Holy shit, I cannot even begin to describe to you the energy, right? And it was like, I took off my shoes, my socks, my shirt, and I showered under the waterfall, and I was jumping up and down. I was like, oh, so happy, so much energy. And I didn't want to eat. I didn't eat the whole day because I had so much energy. Why would you, if your car is full, why would you fill it with anything, right? It was that. And so then, of course, every time I tripped, I was continuously showing that potential. It was like, whoa, so much energy. So that they can show you that exactly everything that I'm telling you about here. You have no idea how much potential you have. No idea how much access to energy you have. The Breatharians currently who shared their message all report that they need no more than 4 hours of sleep. Breatharian is someone who's gone beyond food and is able to access more of the cosmic energy in all the different forms. They all report needing no more than 4 hours of sleep. Because why would you? You're healthy, you healed, you allowed your body to heal. And when you do any form of detox, by the way, the first week or something, you're gonna be sleeping like crazy. And then you'll find your sleep is beginning to lessen and lessen and lessen, because you're sick. Your body goes into a state of detox, a total detox, and begins to clean it up, and then you need a lot of sleep. Of course, if you're sleeping a lot, you're sick. You're sick. You're sick. And so, the masses of humanity is totally sick. It's totally sick. So then our reference point is so unbelievably low. And again, that's why I say things like psychedelics can help you establish a new reference point, but do not depend on them. It's just another trap. You depend on something else to give you energy because you don't realize that you are that energy that you access under the influence of psychedelic substances. But they show you the potential. They show you the potential. And so you know it experientially, like, oh, that Saeed asshole guy was right. You know, I mean, I heard it, but because if you haven't experienced that energy all your life, because you're living in a sick society, how do you know this? You hear me talk about it, but you're like, I don't feel this energy. I didn't feel it at all. What is he talking about? Well, you know, he's an asshole anyway. He's an asshole, right? He's an arrogant asshole. He thinks he knows everything, right? But if you experience this for yourself, you do a proper set and setting, and you do a proper trip, and you experience that energy, that potential, you're like, huh, no, all right, there's something to what this guy's saying. There's something to it. And of course, there is something to it. So until then, just be in acceptance. All right, I guess I'm sick. You know, despite you maybe having more energy than the rest of the sick humans around you, the fact remains is you're sick. And then you begin to heal yourself, and yeah, you lighten up your diet, you see where you want to take it, you go live somewhere less polluted, more peaceful, more calm, etc. You know, it's a whole lifestyle thing, and you'll begin to experience higher vitality, and you'll begin to experience that kid energy that I'm telling you about here. Okay, so yeah, that's, if you want to take that, that's my definition of good health. If you want to take it, take it. If you don't, you don't. It's your experience. I got no beef with it. Nothing. I got nothing with it. It's your experience of the universe. If you want to experience pain and suffering, and it's your call, not mine. Thank you to the Patreons for your support. And if you'd like to support us, it all goes towards the Off-Grid Project, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so you could donate as little as $2 a month, and it goes to the Off-Grid Project, or one-time donations on PayPal. All is appreciated. I love you guys. The links are in the description. Saeed Mobile at Instagram, and until next time, may the force be with you.